Cal, equality is a big idea in algebra. I see you brought along a pan balance. How are you going to use this to develop this idea of equivalence?
Well, we could get the pan balance out and just start to play around with it, and we'd get some ideas of equivalence. But what we do like to do is to start off with some stories that suggest working with the idea of balance. And those stories are ones that we call static stories. There's no action in them.
Right.
And in addition, which is the first operation we would teach, we like to use examples where there's just two groups, and you put a number of objects on one side for each group, and then what we do on the other side is find out the number that will balance those two.
Okay, so give me an example of a story.
So a story we could use is this one about mice, and here we have two groups of mice, a group up here, a small group of two, and a group down here, and the story says mice, mice everywhere, 8 on the floor, 2 behind the door. There's no question to say how many, but even if there were the question there's no action to put those together.
Yes, totally static. It's just
Totally
a
static.
notion of how many are there altogether.
How many altogether?
Right.
Now, a pan balance then, when we act out the story on a pan balance, we will put those two numbers on one side of the pan balance, and then we can actually then find out, well, what's the number that makes them balance.
Okay, and this is a static problem?
Static problem.
As opposed to a
active problem.
active problem.
And then in the active problem, there would be some part of the story that actually moves one group to the other.
Right, and I know we'll talk about active problems in another session, but active problems would be used to develop a different idea in algebra.
Exactly right, exactly right.
Okay, and the static problems are good for each operation, not just addition, but each operation.